Hello everyone, in this video we're going to go over my new battle set, Operation Silver Bayonet from Italeri. So this is something that I posted on my community tab in the channel to sort of gauge interest, and you guys gave me a resounding thumbs up with over 1,000 likes. So I decided to pick this bad boy up. I got it from eBay. I think it cost like $90, which is pretty incredible considering everything you get inside of it. I've been just busy doing a lot of other things and haven't got a chance to really dive into it yet. And I figured, you know what, let's just do a vlog series. We'll do it piece by piece, step by step. And then that'll give you guys, the community, some opportunity to engage with me. Let me know what you think would be cool, where we can like maybe, collab together in a way to, make a cool either battle diorama or several small like vignettes or like little dioramas, something like that. Maybe you guys can even give me some ideas for paint schemes, things we can put on the tanks. Maybe we can write like some fun things on them, or just find some creative ways to make this like a community project in some ways. I'll do all the building and painting, obviously, but I'll certainly look at everyone's comments and take them into consideration, and maybe we can even do some voting on the community tab of the channel. So that all being said, I'm very excited to get into the process. We're gonna go through, look at all of the individual parts together. We'll open the box, go piece by piece, and I'll give you my impressions for this video specifically. And then in subsequent videos, we'll build everything. And then we'll start to put together the pieces of the diorama. I have other things not assembled, but I've purchased some other things for the diorama that I think might be helpful, and I'll go over those at the end of the video as well. But for now, I want to dive into what's inside the box and give you my general impressions of everything that's included, because it is pretty hefty, and these guys are small, so you get a lot. And before I open this, guys, please take a moment to like the video if you haven't already. Consider subscribing if you're into this sort of content, like this vlog series, following along on the journey, and potentially even participating with the community and helping to shape the overall design of what will become of the diorama and the figures. I think that would be really fun for everybody. Cool. All right, so from the box, we know that we get a couple MDF laser cut houses. We get this village house and a small village house. We get 50 Viet Cong figures, 50 U.S. infantry, a UH-1C, a M113 tank, and an M48 tank as well. I believe this is a armored troop transport, but I'll definitely know for sure when I actually open it up. And then we get some battlefield buildings. I believe these are actually plastic and not MDF. So looking at the box, the side of the box has some great detailed artwork. Just basically what's down here. The side of the box as well just shows you more detailed photos. And the back has some really awesome detailed photos of their diorama that they've built, including like just how to paint them and various terrain ideas. Like there's some really cool stuff here. So we definitely can use all this for inspiration. I love the idea of doing some sort of underground like hideaway for the Viet Cong to be sneakied into, but we have to like obviously consider the depth of how big we build any diorama. So that's something we can talk about for the future of the build, or builds, depending on what we decide to do. I've never really worked with water terrains or water features, so maybe that's in the future too. There's I'm open to anything, and discussion is certainly welcome. I've got some other 172 terrain that I've already built in the past that I could also lend to this for my World War II sets. I'm a big fan of keeping things modular and able to move around, but if we need to, we can always glue it down. All right, so let's dive into what's inside. So inside the box, you get a booklet that gives you instructions on how to assemble all of the various pieces of armor, the gunship and the tanks, as well as how to paint the various figures. They've also give you these leaves, which I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with them. I assume they want you to cut them out individually. I don't know. That's a weird thing to me, because they're flat. They're not like, they don't punch them out. The book itself, as well as this is the helicopter, and then these are the various pieces of armor. There's a lot of pieces in here, like the individual track work that needs to be assembled is pretty crazy. Then you've got the 50 figures of both US and Viet Cong, as well as the scattered terrain and the lookout post and that little hut, I think. So that all has to be assembled. That's plastic. And then there's MDF pieces that get assembled, and these are the actual village houses. So these are a little bit more complicated. They're not too bad to put together, actually glued another one together with wood glue, and that stayed together really nicely. So what I've seen from previous MBF kits has been really impressive. It's really just how you paint them up that makes them look the best. They also include several transfer decals for the various vehicles. So I previously opened this box just to take a quick peek at what the assembly of like the helicopter would be like. And I was honestly, I was a little intimidated because there are some very small pieces that need to be assembled, and I'm not even sure it's necessary in some cases, but I have to really dive in there and check. If you're really into like being like incredibly accurate and having all the little details in there, then I think this is for you. But for the purposes of like what I like to do in terms of painting and just creating like a mood and a vibe of a diorama, I don't know that I necessarily want to do like every little thing in here. I don't know. Maybe I'll do like a video where I just do like max effort on the build first, and then, we'll figure out exactly what needs to be repainted from there. This looks like they just keep the helicopter. It's plain green plastic. I'm not sure what you'd call this. It's not green. It's a very different plastic. Maybe they want you to paint it first. It does say paint here, but I think I'd rather hand paint these teeth and like the words Easy Rider rather than use the decals that they provide. I think for me personally, as this being a painting channel as well too, that it would be more satisfying to paint these on rather than put the decals on. But it is cool to have them for reference. I think that's awesome, especially for scaling and stuff. Maybe use them in a different project later down the road. The helicopter itself does look, like I said, kind of intimidating given its size to put like all these little things on here. Really mostly intimidated by the cockpit, I think. I don't know if you can even see that stuff when it's really assembled and far away. I don't know. But some people like to get in there and really look and appreciate those small details. So I'll do my very best. The M48A2 A3 patent, this thing is quite the beast of a kit, given that there's just so many individual track pieces that have to be assembled and like the various wheels. It's not too bad. It's a lot of little tinkery work. This page is really where I'm like, look at that. So this is lots of little track pieces going around these various wheel wells. So it just takes a bunch of time, and I'm not the biggest fan of building, but a good build will make for a better paint job because you get to really get in there and make sure everything looks as good as it could. So I'm assuming that you can build two different things here. You can build an M48A2 or an A3 patent, and I need to look into what the subtle differences are. It might be in like the actual weapon loadout, because I'm assuming the chassis is the same. So let me know in the comments, what's the difference? What would you like? What would you prefer me build? Maybe we'll take a little vote. Should I build the M48A2 version or the A3 patent version? Your help on this is really what will make the diorama or everything that much stronger when we're done. There's also the M113A1. Now, there's no variation of this, so that's just going to be a straight build. But again, I'd rather do all hand painting on these than apply the actual decals. But this is really cool. Then the battlefield buildings, they're all pretty straightforward. Putting together all of these little sandbags is a little bit of a headache. I have these sandbags that I assembled from one of my World War II Italeri kits that I still haven't primed. They've just been sitting on these little A-frames waiting to be primed and painted. I also have barrels from the other kit that I could potentially use as well as some other various 1/72 scale scatter terrain. Then of course there's the figures, the Armed Special Forces and the Vietnamese Army Kong. If you're familiar with the channel, you know I've already done a video on how I would paint these guys, but maybe we can take them a step further and give some of them some sick camo like these guys have right here. I did a very basic paint scheme on my U.S. infantry previously. And then there's a great page here with ideas for how to assemble like a bunker or a makeshift ramp out of popsicle sticks or just leftover pieces of wood. I have tons of this stuff saved. Could potentially build some really neat ramps and things. This page is very confusing to me, like I said, because these are just printed, and I'm assuming they want you to meticulously cut them out with maybe an X-Acto knife or something. This is strange to me. I don't think I would do this. This is weird. I don't know what to do with here. So this says the both sides printed leaves that you will find in this page will help you to realize areas and corners of vegetation. In order to make the leaves realistic and shiny, we recommend some brush strokes with oil, paints, or varnish. I I'm going to move past that. And then here's some details of the houses all painted up. These look really cool too. So that's it. Looking at put the decals to the side for a second, and I'll put the MDF terrain, which we've already kind of peeked at, aside as well. What I want to do is maybe do a community vote on what to build first. I believe I'd want to start with the armor first, either the helicopter or one of the 2 tanks, because this stuff can get together pretty quickly. And then we'll save all of the figures for another separate video, since they can stand alone. But we'll continue on with the vlog series, and in the next episode of the series, I will build whatever we vote on to do first. I mean, we could even vote to do the MDF terrain first if that's what people want to do. So go over to my posts or let me know in the comments what you want to see me build first, and we'll start to build up a tally, and we'll go from there. I'll try to have up the next video as soon as possible, hopefully within 48 hours or so, but here's open. All right, thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video. Consider subscribing if this is your thing. I think it'd be really fun to get more people involved in this, what I'm calling like a community project, and we'll build it all together. And in future steps, we'll talk about what the actual diorama base might look like, its dimensions, and the actual details of it. So one last thing to mention is that I did pick up some bamboo from Amazon, as well as some palm trees of various sizes. I don't know if they're the right scale. I have to really get in there and look, but they're still worth keeping for future projects. Maybe we can figure out something to do with them. So these are just some sort of starter ideas that I was kicking around to try to get some things started. I also have a ton of mud effects from Vallejo and some water effects too we could experiment with. Tons of dirt. We'll make it fun. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you excited? What do you want to see me build first? What do you want to see me paint first? And do you have any fun ideas for the larger diorama build? Cool, thanks.